Hey, yo, what's up, G? It's Gains.by Fenton here. And in this video, I'm going to be going over the 5-step system on how engineers can get shredded. So if you have an analytical mind, then this video is going to be for you. A lot of fitness content is all motivational, but in this video, I'm going to be giving guys who think analytically a process that can get them in shape. Let's go into the 5 steps to make this happen. So the first step is that you're going to track your output. So you're gonna go with a data-driven approach. The core principle is you can't optimize what you don't measure. So everything that you do when it comes to fitness is gonna be measurable tactics that's gonna give you measurable results that you can track and therefore build upon and improve. So daily metrics, you're gonna track your weight at the same time, the same conditions. You're gonna track calories consumed, and then you're gonna track the workouts that you completed. So you're gonna have a checklist that you're following to make sure that you are staying on point. So weekly analysis, all right? So you're gonna have weight trends, not daily fluctuation. You're gonna have your average calorie intake, and then you're gonna have workout consistency percentage. These are metrics that you're gonna track to keep yourself on track and making sure that you are approaching your goals. All right, so monthly assessment. This is what you're gonna track every month to see your progress. So you're gonna track body measurements, you're gonna have progressive photos, and then you're gonna have system debugging and adjustments, right? So when things come along, issues that you might encounter, you're gonna adjust for it. And we're gonna talk about that more in the video. All right, so the tools you're gonna use is MyFitnessPal, Happy Scale, and then phone camera. So MyFitnessPal is gonna be good for tracking your macros and your meals. Happy Scale is gonna be more so for an efficient way to track your weight and make sure that you stay on your goals. And then obviously the camera is just to see how's your body progressing during this process. All right, so the success metric, we're gonna try to make sure that we lose 1 to 2 pounds per week after the initial 2 weeks. The 2 weeks is gonna be our buffer. We're still learning the process. We're still understanding how it works. And then after 2 weeks, we should start seeing some body fat get shredded. Going to step 2, we're gonna build repeatable meals. So the problem is, a lot of times when we're trying to figure out how we're gonna eat on track is that we get decision fatigue, okay? And that kills consistency. Solution, we're gonna have templates, not meal plans. So we're gonna have templates that we follow that we can easily fit into shit that we already have where we meet our macros. So the meal template structure is as follows. You're gonna have one protein source that's consistent. You're gonna have a carb source that you're gonna rotate 2 to 3 options. You're gonna have a fat source measured in portion, like your peanut butter, your nuts, things of that nature. And then you're gonna have veggies of whatever is convenient, okay? So veggies, this is gonna be your fiber. It's gonna be low calories, but it's gonna keep you full so that you're able to implement these strategies. All right, so getting into the 80-20 rule. You're gonna have the same meals 80% of the time, and you're gonna have flexibility 20% of the time. So 80% of the time, you're gonna be making sure that you're following your set template. Batch preparation. Sunday, protein and carb prep with the daily assembly. So Sunday is gonna be the time where you prepare your protein and carbs. Again, the fat source, the veggies is gonna be on the fly on that day, all right? This is gonna be very efficient for you and allow you to have enough time to prepare while making your goals. The starting macros, make it simplistic. For your starting macros, you're gonna take your body weight and multiply that by 12 calories. And then you're gonna just make sure that you have 1 gram of protein for a pound of body weight. You don't have to worry about keeping up with carbs. You don't have to worry about keeping up with fat. As long as you have the appropriate amount of protein, everything else will fall into place and that you remain in the deficit that is calculated here. And then finally going into the iteration, we want to adjust based on hunger and energy and results, okay? So as we see what results we're getting, if we're hungry, whatever the case may be, we want to tweak our system until we meet the goal, right? So for instance, bam, if I'm in a deficit, more hungry than usual, then that means I need to up my calories just a tad, not too crazy, but enough where I feel satiated. Going into step number 3, 5 times a week, you're gonna do 1-hour workouts, and this is gonna be efficiency focus. Time constraint, maximum, you're gonna spend 1 hour in the gym 5 days per week. Let's talk about the structure. We're gonna begin with the 10-minute warm-up for mobility. For 35 minutes is gonna be the period where you do your compound movements. And then finally, that last 15 minutes is going to be the period where you do some concentration curls or spider curls, whatever you have it, right? If we're talking biceps. So that's going to be your isolation movements. The weekly split is going to be as follows. You're going to do upper, lower, and a full body rotation. You're going to have emphasis on compound movements, and you're going to do progressive overload tracking, okay? You're going to track your reps, you're going to track your form, and you're going to track and make sure that you're increasing your weight. Exercise selection is going to consist of squats, deadlifts, rows, and pressing. So these are going to be your compound lifts that you must implement. All right. It's very fundamental that you have these in your training regimen. The goal is going to be to maintain strength while in a calorie deficit. Your efficiency tactics are going to be as follows. You're going to implement supersets. You're going to have minimum rest, and you're going to have pre-prepped workouts. So before you go into your workout session, you're going to know what you're training. You're going to have some sort of supersets implemented so you're not in the gym for long, and then you're going to keep the rest at minimum. All right, so going into step 4, it is vital that you do 10K steps daily. This is the baseline activity that you need to implement. The rationale is you're going to burn anywhere between 400 and 500 calories. It's going to be sustainable, and it's going to be a low recovery cost. Implementation, you're going to do 2 to 3K steps in the morning. What I personally like to do when I do this, I like to listen to some kind of self-development book. Okay, so it's going to be your period to kind of do some self-building while you walk. During the workday, you're going to walk to your meetings, you're going to take the stairs, or you're going to park farther away, or combine all three, right? These are things that you can do to up your steps daily. In the evening, so your downtime to kind of reflect on the day, you're going to implement post-dinner walks to get your steps and to be productive. All right, so talk about tracking. You can use any step counter app or device. Minimum viable. So if you find that 10K is too strenuous for you, then you can start at 8K and kind of work yourself up to the 10K. So getting into the integration, this is a background process where you don't have to worry about, hey, when I'm gonna do cardio or how much cardio I should do. Is implemented into your everyday. And then going into the insurance policy. This maintains deficit even when you eat outside your macros, right? So even if maybe you fall off the wagon eating something that you shouldn't, then you have this to fall back on, that you're implementing your steps daily. Going to step 5, this is the most important step. That is your sleep, okay? I cannot harp how important it is to make sure that you get adequate sleep. Minimum, you need 7 hours for recovery optimization, okay? Me personally, I've tried to get more than 7 hours. I would love to sleep for 8 hours. The more sleep, the better, but my body doesn't let me sleep beyond 7 hours. But 7 hours is minimum what you need to make sure that you're not leaving any gains on the table. So this is a non-negotiable. Poor sleep destroys fat loss efforts. So getting into the sleep architecture, you're gonna have a consistent bedtime and wake time. You're gonna have a cool, dark, and quiet environment. Personally, at night, I love when it's cold. This allows me to sleep. So me personally, I will set my thermostat to 68 degrees. So it's nice and cold and I stay asleep. I'm very, very adamant about my 7 hours. Then you're gonna have blue light management after 8 p.m. So what I do personally, if I'm working late at night, I set all my devices on blue light mode. You can go into your settings on your laptop for all my busy guys out there, and you can set that to blue light so that it doesn't interfere with your sleep when it's time to knock out, right? Here's your pre-sleep protocol. So 90 minutes before bed, no caffeine or large meals, 60 minutes, no screen, and then 30 minutes, you're gonna do some kind of reading, meditation, or stretching. That's gonna be your pre-sleep protocol. For tracking, you're gonna use sleep apps or wearables like an O-ring. And here are the benefits of this. You're gonna get better workouts. It's gonna be easy for you to adhere to, and you're gonna get faster results. Going into troubleshooting, you're gonna address stress management if sleep issues persist. If you've done all these things, you follow this to the T, and you still find that you having trouble sleep, then most likely it's your stress. I know me personally, when I'm stressed out, that can affect my sleep. And it is at that moment where I need to recognize this and manage my stress. Now I'm going to be talking about common troubleshooting for these 5 steps. So if you're not losing weight, you need to reduce your calories by 200. If you're too hungry, that means you need to increase your protein and fiber. If you find that you're missing workouts, then that's an indicator to reduce the session length or frequency. If you have low energy, you need to check your sleep quality and stress levels. And finally, if you get any plateaus, that means for you to increase your steps or reduce your calories slightly. And that's it, man. These are 5 steps you can implement if you have an analytical mind and you're not achieving your fitness results.